So I already looked at DC Comics' first publication, New Fun, Issue 1, in an earlier video. Well, their second continuing title was New Comics, and that started in December of 1935. New Comics became New Adventure Comics with issue 12, and then Adventure Comics with issue 32 in 1938. And that's what we have here. This comic series ran for 529 issues, ending in 2011. This is Adventure Comics issue 346, cover date July 1966, which is exactly 59 years ago this month. It would have been released several months earlier, and it was actually written the previous year by a 13-year-old boy. This was the first work by the late Jim Shooter, who wrote and drew this comic book when he was only 13 years old. By the time it was released, he had turned 14 years old, and it was released on the same day as his second professional work, Action Comics issue 339, which featured a Supergirl story that he wrote called Brainiac's Blitz. Jim Shooter continued writing for DC Comics every month for a decade, and then moved on to Marvel Comics in 1976. At Marvel, he rose from writer to assistant editor and on up until he was editor-in-chief, taking over the position from Stan Lee, who had gone on to Hollywood to launch media projects such as the Incredible Hulk TV series. During Jim Shooter's 9-year tenure as editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, he turned the company around from near bankruptcy to great success. He was also responsible for many new innovations that shaped the future of the industry, as well as getting comic book creators royalty payments. This turned writers and artists of the most popular books into wealthy men. Eventually, some of the people that worked under his reign revolted against him, and he was fired on my 13th birthday. He would then found Valiant Comics, the third most successful comic company after Marvel and DC, and this was before Image Comics. Shortly afterwards, he would be fired again, found more companies, rinse and repeat. I had the chance to meet Jim Shooter multiple times. I got many comics signed by him, and I got a picture with him almost exactly 10 years to the day before he died earlier this week. So let us now look at where it all began. So as you can see at the top here, this checkerboard pattern, this is a thing that DC Comics had started to do because the way comics were at the newsstand, they were stacked one in front of the other, and pretty much all you could see was the top of the comic. So they figured if we put this type of design at the top, the kids will know this is a DC comic, and that means quality. Over at Marvel, Steve Ditko had created the corner box where he would put the head of the main character of the story. Would be Spider-Man, or maybe the heads of the Fantastic Four, or the Incredible Hulk there in the corner, which of course was carried over to all their titles, you know, the ones drawn by Jack Kirby and such, and so kids could see the heads of the characters. So here we have the Legion of Superheroes. This was a team of characters from the 30th century inspired by the exploits of Superboy of Smallville from the 20th century, and they traveled back in time to recruit Superboy as a member of their team. They made their debut in Adventure Comics 8 years earlier, and in this issue, Jim Shooter is introducing 4 new prospective members for the team: Karate Kid, Princess Projectra, Pharaoh Lad, and Nemesis Kid. The previous owner put their name, address, and phone number on this sticker over the Polaris Nuclear Sub ad. Unbeatable self-defense made easy. Ketsugo, only $1. So here we have Karate Kid fighting Superboy. It's just a preview of things to come. Now we get into the story. Cosmic Boy is late for a meeting with the Legion of Superheroes, and as he's going there, he saves somebody with his powers of magnetism. Sorry I'm late, Superboy. I ran into an emergency and skip the alibis, Cosmic Boy. Take your seat and let's get this show on the road. Jeez. In the absence of our leader, Brainiac 5, I've been appointed as deputy to preside at this meeting. Today, we interview candidates for Legion membership. Since Bouncing Boy lost his powers and Starboy was expelled, we're short-handed. First up is Princess Projectra from the planet Orando, and she sends them under the sea. Under the sea. and into space. But it turns out they're all illusions. You got my vote. Next up is Nemesis Kid, and he challenges the atomic robot.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
And here we have a page from President Johnson that says, pick up your trash before the world is trash. The robot opens hostilities by firing a nuclear blast at the youth. This is a snap. I merely changed the molecules of the air into a lead wall to shield myself from the rays. Now I've transformed my body into neutronium, an element which absorbs all energy. It's unanimous. You got our vote. Next up is Pharaoh Lad, and he changes his body into solid iron. He's indestructible, he's super strong, he can take on the deadliest of weapons. And he too joins the team. That just leaves the Karate Kid. I'm the Karate Kid. I developed my own power. Great skill in all forms of fighting, especially karate and judo. He chops a steel beam in half. He challenges Superboy. Looks like the mountain won't come to Mohammed, so... Oof, what speed! He didn't hurt me, but that blow to my super hard body didn't faze him either. I'll finish him quick. Don't want to harm him. I'll spring and catch him off guard. Oof! Popping planets! Who's catching who off guard? What reflexes and strength? Okay, buddy, now it's my turn. Huh? He rolled my punch, threw me off balance. Now for a judo demonstration, turning my opponent's strength against him. I'm tiring. Gotta finish him now. He doesn't realize I can take all he dishes out with no damage. He's slowing down. One more punch and, ooh, now I've got a hold of your slippery hide. Even though Karate Kid bit off more than he could chew, anyone who can give me that kind of tussle belongs in the Legion. Karate Kid would get his own spin-off comic, and I have issue 1. The cover was drawn by Mike Grell, and I got it signed by him. Later in 1984, when they were making the Karate Kid movie, they got permission from DC Comics to use the name, and in the credits you will see a credit to DC Comics. Part 2, Invasion from the Edge of Space. Recently, the new Hyper Telescope at Palmer Observatory discovered a hitherto unknown galaxy at the very edge of the visible universe. That entire collection of stars and planets is dominated by a single world, and their military might is terrific. We fear they'll bring their wars to us. Suddenly, a strange evil face appears on the screen. Greetings, Legionnaires! One of our spies in the UP has inserted this message in the film strip you are viewing. As you watch this, an ultimatum is being delivered to the Earth's government. I am Garlak, Warlord of Kund, the planet you've been discussing. Unless Earth surrenders in 1 hour, we will attack and destroy the whole planet. Oh yes, Superboy, we have a good supply of kryptonite weapons, too. As the screen goes blank, that does it. Only 1 hour. No time to get help from the other planets in the UP. Those aliens could make good on their threat. Alright, so the Legion starts guarding these various posts. Multiple things happen that cause Phantom Girl, who can phase through objects, to suspect Karate Kid as a secret spy that is out to thwart the Legion's plans, and she tries to convince the other members of the team that he is not to be trusted. The story ends on a cliffhanger. Is Karate Kid really a traitor and a saboteur? Or is the culprit someone else? Find out in the next thrilling issue of Adventure. And now we've got a roll call where you can meet the Legionnaires. Brainiac 5, Chameleon Boy, Colossal Boy, Cosmic Boy, Duo Damsel, Element Lad, Pharaoh Lad, Invisible Kid, Karate Kid, Light Lass, Lightning Lad, Matter Eater Lad, Mon El, Nemesis Kid, Phantom Girl, Princess Projectra, Saturn Girl, Shrinking Violet, Sun Boy, Superboy, Supergirl, Ultra Boy. Then we have honorary members Jimmy Olsen, the Elastic Lad, and Pete Ross. Legion Reservists, Bouncing Boy, and Kid Psycho, and then the Legion of Substitute Heroes, Chlorophyll Kid, Color Kid, Dream Girl, Fire Lad, Night Girl, Polar Boy, Star Boy, and Stone Boy. And why is the Incredible Hulk on the cover of this DC comic? Riddle me this. And we end with this awesome ad for G.I. Joe toys of the 1960s. Cool. And there you have it. Until next time.